Okay, so this is part 1 of the Spongebob Scientific Method worksheets answers. So we're going to be doing questions 1, 2, 3, and 4 on page 1, all 4 scenarios. All right, so our letter A, Patty Power. The scenario is Mr. Krabs wants to make Bikini Bottom a nicer place to live. He has created a new sauce that he thinks will reduce the production of body gas associated with eating Krabby Patties from the Krusty Krab. He recruits 100 customers with a history of gas problems. He has 50 of them, Group A, eat Krabby Patties with the new sauce. The other 50, Group B, eats Krabby Patties with sauce that looks just like new sauce, but it's really just a mixture of mayonnaise and food coloring. Both groups were told that they were getting the sauce that would reduce gas production. 2 hours after eating the Krabby Patties, 30 customers in Group A reported having fewer gas problems, and 8 customers in Group B reported having fewer gas problems. What is the observation? So remember, observations are no assumptions and no opinions. They're based strictly out of the text. So when we read our text, we can see that the Krabby Patties are causing gas production, and that comes directly from the text. So that's going to be our observation. So Krabby Patties are causing gas production. So that is not an opinion or an assumption. It's directly from the text. Then when we create on number 2, it says what question is being asked. We create that directly from our observation. So our question could be, can the new sauce reduce gas production? All right, then we're going to be identifying our independent and our dependent variables. So our independent variables, remember, it's the cause of what happens. It's being manipulated. So that's going to be the new sauce. And the dependent variable is the effect. It's what we can measure. It's the response. So it's going to be the amount of gas. Okay, so we are done with part or scenario A for today. B, slimatosis. SpongeBob notices that his pal Gary suffers from slimatosis, which occurs when the shell develops a nasty slime and gives off a horrible odor. His friend Patrick tells him that rubbing seaweed on the shell is the perfect cure, while Sandy says that drinking Dr. Kelp will be a better cure. SpongeBob decides to test this cure by rubbing Gary with seaweed for 1 week and having him drink Dr. Kelp. After a week of treatment, the slime is gone and Gary's shell smells better. So our observation is that Gary has slimatosis. It's not based on opinion, and it's not an assumption. We got it directly from the text. You could have also said that Gary stinks and has slimatosis. Either one is fine. Then we're going to create a question based off our observation. So we can say, how can SpongeBob get rid of the slimatosis? You could also say something like, will the treatments work? This would really be more of a hypothesis, but I would accept it because it is based strictly off of the scenario. So I would prefer the how can SpongeBob get rid of slimatosis, but I would accept will the treatments work. So I'm going to actually delete that one. All right, so our independent variable, the cause, that's something that we're going to measure. So remember our cause and our effect. I'm going to go down here and find the dependent variable first because that's how we did it in class. We found what we would measure or the effect first because we decided that it was easier to find it that way, but it's really just up to you. So I can measure the amount of slimatosis. And what is going to affect that, or the cause that change, or the cause that effect, is going to be the treatments. So remember, it's up to you on which one you find first, as long as you find both of them. All right, moving down to C. So scenario C says marshmallow muscles. Larry was told that a certain muscle cream was the newest best thing on the market and claims to double a person's muscle power when used as part of a muscle building workout. Interested in this product, he buys this special muscle cream and recruits Patrick and Spongebob to help him with an experiment. Larry develops a special marshmallow weightlifting program for Patrick and Spongebob. He meets with them once every day for a period of 2 weeks and keeps track of their results. Before each session, Patrick's arms and back are lathered in the muscle cream, while SpongeBob's arms and back are lathered with the regular lotion. Then it provides us a data table that talks about, so it shows us Patrick and SpongeBob, and then it shows us the initial amount of time that they can work out. And then this is after 1 week of being using the product and the lotion. This is after 2 weeks of using the product and the lotion. So our observation, remember, it comes directly from the text, is we could say that there is a muscle cream on the market that claims to double muscle power. Came directly from the text. We are not assuming or making an opinion. Our question needs to come from our observation. Does the cream double muscle power? So when you're making your observation, and really any section of this, it needs to be as specific as possible. So we could have just said, does the muscle cream work? But remember, the scenario says it specifically quotes that it double muscle power. So that's exactly what our observation and our question needs to ask. That does it double muscle power? All right, our independent variable, it's the cause, and our dependent variable is the effect. And I'm going to find that one first. So the dependent variable, we are going to be measuring the amount of marshmallows lifted. You could also say the time, or the muscle, the amount of muscle power. So either of those would be perfectly fine. Then we're going to have the independent variable. What was the cause that affected this dependent variable's change? Well, that's the muscle cream. Okay. All right. Now going down to part D. Patrick believes that fish that eat food exposed to microwaves will become smarter and would be able to swim through a maze faster. He decides to perform an experiment by placing fish food in a microwave for 20 seconds. He has the fish swim through the maze and records the time it takes for each one to make it to the end. He feeds the special food to 10 fish and gives regular food to 10 others. After 1 week, he has the fish swim through the maze again and records time for each. So we have our data tables here. We have the fish that get the special food, and we have the fish that get the regular food. And then he determines the different fish. So there's 10 fish in each group, and he times the fish before they get the special food, and then after they get the special food. And then same with this one. There's 10 fish. How long it takes the fish to swim through the maze before the food and then after they get the food. So our initial observation was Patrick believes that food exposed to microwaves will make the fish smarter and swim through the maze faster. So this is what Patrick believes. Okay. Then the question being asked, it should be pretty simple. We're going to take it directly from the observation. Does the microwaved food make the fish swim faster? Because that's something that we can measure. We can't really measure if the fish is smarter or not, but we can measure this question. So whenever you're developing questions, try to think ahead. So you're trying to create independent and dependent variables. That's your ultimate goal for this video or this assignment. So try to think ahead. What is something that is being asked that we can actually measure? So the dependent variable is something that we can measure. Well, based off of our question, we want to know if the fish can swim faster. So something we can measure from that would be the speed the fish swim. So that is our effect. And what is going to cause the change that would affect the speed of the fish swimming? The microwave food. All right, so this was part 1 of the SpongeBob worksheet. We're not doing page 2. We're just going to be doing page 1. So after you learn about hypothesis, you'll come back and we'll do number 5 on each of them. Then after you learn about control, experimental constants, and conclusion, you'll come back through a third video, part 3, and we'll answer all of those.